Have you ever felt like you're physically here, but your mind is somewhere else? You're eating, but you don't taste the food. You're walking, but you barely notice the path or surroundings. You're talking, but not really listening. This state is called an unconscious life, a living experience where we reside in our bodies, but our mind constantly drifts away. Our mind often lingers in the past, trapped in mistakes, regrets, and sorrows. We suffer in the thoughts of the future, creating fear, anxiety, and stress. But life only happens in the present moment right now. The moment you are reading this sentence, that is the real moment. What happened before is your memory. What will happen in the future is your imagination. But this is true, this is real. Being present here is what mindfulness is: awareness. It's not a complex religious requirement, a special yoga pose, or a mysterious trick. It's the science and practice of bringing the human mind and brain back to the present moment. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness means fully experiencing the present moment without judgment. Observing what is happening without trying to change it, simply noticing it. It's not something you just read or hear about and know. It's a habit, a skill you develop through practice. Have you ever noticed? When you're eating, you glance at your phone screen or stare at the TV. The color, smell, and taste of food all fade, and your mind drifts away. This is a lack of mindfulness. You're working, but your mind is somewhere else. You're smiling, but inside, there's silence or a storm of thoughts. This is a big part of our lives. The main purpose of learning mindfulness is to bring your mind back to here. This body, this breath, these sensations, these sounds, this touch. Notice them fully, with complete awareness. Now we'll learn some step-by-step practices. But first, understand this. Mindfulness is not a quick-fix technique. It's a gradual habit. And it can profoundly transform your life. Breath, the first step. Breath is the simplest, yet most powerful practice. Because your breath always happens in the now. You cannot breathe in the past. You cannot breathe in the future. Breath always exists here and now. Let's do an exercise. Sit still for a moment, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Not too deep, just observe mindfully. How does the air enter your body? How does your chest rise? How does your abdomen move? What does it feel like as the breath leaves your body? Just noticing this brings the mind into the present. There is no failure, no success. Just observe. People often make the first mistake. They say, "I successfully breathed in." No. Your goal is not to succeed. Your goal is to notice. Understand this subtle but crucial difference. As you focus more deeply on your breath, you'll realize you cannot stop thoughts. But you can learn to observe them. When a thought arises, for example, "I am failing," if you believe it or react to it, you will feel stress. But if you simply notice it, like, "Oh, a thought has come," you don't get trapped in it. It may not feel easy, but it's a habit. And habits are built through repetition. Observe feelings, don't judge. Let's take this practice one step deeper. When thoughts arise, feelings are created. You smile, there is hidden pain. You feel sad, tears come. You feel excited, your body becomes restless. Now notice. When a feeling arises, do you accept it? Or do you fight it? Or try to suppress it? Mindfulness teaches us to observe feelings without judgment and without reaction. When you simply notice a feeling without judging it, the feeling stays for a while, then naturally leaves your body on its own. Suppose you feel sadness. At first, you usually say, "This is bad." You resist it. You hold on to it. You struggle inside that state. The result? The feeling becomes stronger. But if you say, "Yes, this is sadness. It is here," That is not judgment. That is information. Then the feeling naturally moves through you and fades away. This gap between inner awareness and reacting to thoughts. This is the true power of mindfulness. Mindfulness in daily life. Mindfulness is not only for meditation. When you are eating, what does the food taste like? What is the smell? Is it warm or cold? Don't eat like a machine. Notice the taste in this moment. When you are walking, feel the ground under your feet. Notice the weight in each step. Sense your body's balance. If you observe each step, walking becomes a form of conscious movement. When you are speaking, how are the words coming out? Is there tension in your throat? What emotions are present in your mind? Just observe, without judging yourself. This is how everyday activities become mindful. Mindfulness slowly becomes part of your life. And then, your life feels fuller, calmer, and deeper. The human mind stays in the present moment only about 1% of the time. The other 99% of the time, it lives in the past or the future. Research suggests that when the mind is away from the present, stress, worry, and anxiety increase. An unconscious mind means you are full of information but lacking awareness. You may think about what you ate today, but you don't remember actually enjoying the food while eating. You think about your future job, but you don't notice how you feel sitting here right now. In this state, the mind becomes unconscious. And an unconscious mind loses energy, awareness, and decision-making clarity. But when you learn to observe the present moment, a complete connection forms between mind, body, and environment. There are three major components to this. 1. Clear observation. 2. Non-judgmental acceptance. 3. Situational awareness. Clear observation means observing what you are doing. Not just thinking about it in your head, but noticing what is actually happening in reality. Non-judgmental acceptance means first acknowledging information without labeling it as good or bad. For example, if you feel sadness, you usually say, "This is bad." That is judgment. But mindfulness says, "This is sadness. I am feeling it." No mental burden or blame is added. Situational awareness means being aware of what you are doing in each moment. Through this, you consciously experience your body, your mind, and your surroundings, all together, in the present moment. Mindfulness or awareness is not just a mental technique. It is a biological system. There are specific areas in your brain that are responsible for maintaining attention on the present moment, location, and sensations. When you stay attentive to the present, your prefrontal cortex, PFC, becomes active. This is the part of the brain responsible for judgment, decision-making, and analyzing situations. The deeper part of the brain, the amygdala, which controls fear, reactions, and stress responses, remains calmer. This balance is what gives you control over your mental state. That's why in mindfulness practice, when you focus on the present moment, your brain naturally becomes slower, more stable, and clearer. People experience more anxiety when the PFC is less active and the amygdala is more active. But through mindfulness practice, the PFC becomes stronger, and the stress response or emotional hijack decreases. This is not imagination. This is neurobiology. When you practice attention regularly, the balance of dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine improves. As a result, your emotions, feelings, and mental resilience become more stable. Mental stress arises when you react to your emotions, instead of observing them or allowing them to pass. A thought appears. Did I make a mistake? When this question comes, the mind goes back to the past. But another question can arise. How am I feeling right now? That brings attention to the present feeling. Mindfulness teaches the ability to see thoughts and emotions in a different way. This is not a moral lesson. It is a simple observation. When you only notice your feelings, you stop depending on them automatically. By practicing this for just 5 to 10 minutes daily, the mind moves out of stress. The need for medication may decrease, in some cases. Sleep quality improves. And depression and anxiety can lessen. Your body and mind are deeply connected to each other. When you feel stress, your chest tightens. Muscles become tense. Your heartbeat speeds up. And the body shifts into fight or flight mode. Mindfulness teaches. Notice every sensation in the body. When the body feels tight, just observe. The body is becoming tight. Do not judge it, and do not react to it. The other side is when you observe the body's reactions, your nervous system gradually becomes stable. The fight or flight response decreases. The rest and digest response becomes active. This is true mental calm. Have you noticed? When you smile, the body automatically feels relief? This is not just an emotion. It is a physical response. When you feel tense or pressured, your body is saying, I am not safe. But mindfulness teaches you can rebuild your body as a place of safety. The human mind is usually tuned toward mistakes, things that could go wrong, worries, and possible negative events in the future. Attention naturally drifts to these. Mindfulness teaches. Notice what is happening. Understand it. And let it go. When you begin observing the mind, you'll see. One thought comes. Then another comes. They are not permanent objects. They are just mental noise. You don't have to believe them. Instead, observe them with awareness. And they quietly come, stay for a moment, and pass away. This is not something mystical. It is simply a mental, chemical process. Mindfulness is not just a personal habit. It also transforms your relationships. When you talk with others, do you look into their eyes and truly listen? Or are you only hearing your own thoughts? When you listen with full presence, people feel you are truly listening. This is not just about words. It's about the feeling of attention. Such relationships become deeper. Such relationships become more trustworthy. Such relationships increase mental strength. Mindfulness is not only meditation or breathing. It can be applied to every decision and every moment of life. When you do any task, notice every touch of your hands. Notice every sound. Notice the feeling of each situation. Then life is not just something you do. It becomes a living, conscious experience. Simple practice technique. Every morning for 5 minutes. Just observe your breath. Thoughts will come, you simply notice them. In this way, the mind gradually learns to stay in the present. Stress decreases. Moments of calm increase. Decisions become easier. Relationships improve. Life becomes more meaningful.